And welcome back. In the latest crime stats released earlier, Gauteng recorded a decrease in crime rate between October and December last year. But the province still accounts for the most of the crimes in the country. Joining us to talk more on this is Lieutenant General Mthombeni, who is the Gauteng Police Commissioner. A very good evening to you, Commissioner. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. I guess let's start with the decrease as well. You've also attributed that to law enforcement agencies hard at work, of course. And before we get into the categories, because some categories we have seen an increase, let's talk about that 6.5% decrease and some of the categories where you're seeing a decrease in crime as the SAPS.
Thank you very much, and greetings to the viewers at home. Really appreciate for this time, and indeed, today we were summoned to appear before the Portfolio Committee on Community Safety within Gauteng Province. We were, of course, presented the crime statistics, of which out of a total 17 community reported crimes, we have seen an overall reduction of the crime by 6.5%. And having said that, on your remarks, we know for the fact that Gauteng accounts, I'll say, a high volume in terms of the crimes which is committed within the country. We are taking a 26.5% with the period under review, but we have to take into consideration the population, which is over 16 million, of which we are policing, and then compared to other provinces of which the population, we have in the highest population within the province or within the country.
And considering that as well, Commissioner, with the increase in population, we know that Gauteng also attracts a lot of migration as well every year. We're also not seeing the increases in the budgets to the police portfolios as much as we'd like, of course. So how are you then able, as the police, to then keep up with this increase of population where you have to manage and police more people with less resources?
We have to take note that on my opening remarks, as I was closing on addressing the Portfolio Committee, I clearly reflected that crime affects everyone. And as such, it needs, a societal approach. But further than that, the government have approved a whole government approach in 2022, which underpins 6 pillars. Out of those 6 pillars, I'll give, for example, the integrated governmental programs. Over and above the workforce which we're having as South African Police Service, we're having a complementary workforce. We're having 3 biggest metros in the country, of which the province is the only province which is having 3 metros. We are having a total of not less than 10,000 personnel within those 3 metros. Gauteng traffic, we're having 4,000. We know for the fact that we're having Gauteng traffic wardens. That's a complementary workforce which is over 8,000. And over and above that, we're having a well-structured structure in terms of community policing forum, whereupon we're having a complementary community policing-based structure, community in blue, over 9,000. And the security industry as well. We know for the fact that this province, we're having over 7,102 security companies, and the personnel is over 217. So given this situation, we're having a complementary workforce which we have to work together, and together we can do more.
So there's a collaborative effect. I also wanted to talk about those categories where we are seeing an increase in common assault and attempted murder. If you can just tell us the kinds of crimes that are occurring in those categories as well of attempted murder. The examples, are you seeing more people carrying knives, or what kinds of weapons? Is it firearms?
You're right. The increase, it's reflected under attempted murder, the assault or commercial crimes, for example. With attempted murder, you'll find that in some other instances, people, maybe they get in an argument, they use maybe a knife, or to a certain extent, maybe I would say a brick, or to a certain extent firearms, yes, of course, because the attempted murder, to a certain extent, they get translated to murders. And your assault common, it's where, for example, there's an argument and one person is slapped with a clap. And yeah, I think basically those are some of the crimes which is happening. Well, with the commercial crimes, we're having quite a number of examples, of which some is internet related, some is the advertisement on the Facebook. They advertise to say you can get this car. You know for the fact the car is 500,000 when you go to the shop, but they say go to Winterfeld, you'll get it 100,000, of which there we have in this group so-called Scania. And we have put a team there, of which we also put on the media to say you have to be careful. You can't be seeing a car which is worth 500,000, you'll get it 100,000 in Winterfeld. When you get there, you get a small boy who will accompany you, and thereafter you get accosted, and then the money get taken from your accounts, or whatever you're having, you're getting, it's getting taken. So these are typical type of crimes of which we had some sort of increases.
Yeah, scamming and cyber crimes, those kinds of things as well.
Yes, true.
The other category I want to talk about is women and children. When it comes to GBV, there's always, of course, a necessary focus on there. But one wonders, are we making a bit of a dent that we'd like to make? I mean, 52 children killed in this period and 200 women. Well, those were attempted murders, pardon me, of 52 children and 200 women. But we still had 565 of the total number of people murdered being women and children. We've been saying that we are fighting the scourge against gender-based violence. You just saw now in that report by my colleague Malungelo Boy in another province, this is a nationwide problem, in the Western Cape, same problem. For Gauteng, as unique as it is, having 3 metros, having an increased migration of population as well, how do you even begin to make the slightest of dents?
As I've indicated, that it is important that we have to work closely together as a crime affects everyone. We need to put to Ghana on the societal approach. I must just indicate that we're having quite a number of non-governmental organizations which assist thereof. From our side as well, for this reporting period under review, we managed to go out to the community in a form of awareness campaign, of which this awareness campaign for adults, we have done over 1,900, while for children we've done over 10,000. I must just indicate that we are at least making an inroad based on what we have reflected on my opening remarks when we appear before the portfolio committee. Clearly, you could see that we have, or I have reflected 1,168 sexual offenders arrested, and out of that we have seen 221 cases to court, 141 offenders. Out of that, we had 65 life sentences. In addition to that, 303 years, of which these people that were sentenced. So with these collaborations, we are seeing something, because those awareness which we are doing, we're encouraging the community to come forward. We're encouraging the community, if you have witnessed such, don't be afraid. We can even put you on the witness program to ensure that we see these cases go through the courts and we ultimately get a positive result in terms of convictions.
Yeah, those stats sound encouraging indeed, but clearly lots of work still needs to be done. Commissioner, really appreciate you coming into studio and just unpacking these crime stats with us. That's Gauteng Police Commissioner General Mthombeni just unpacking those crime stats that were released today.